Alright, so today we watched the 1991 follow-up to the 1982 Sword and Sorcery classic, The Beastmaster 2, Through the Portal of Time. This is a notable movie because it actually never made it off VHS. Surprisingly enough, even though there was 3 Beastmaster movies and a TV series, Beastmaster 2 and 3 only available on VHS. Of course, there's DVD bootlegs out there, but at that point you're just paying for a VHS rip. So, this has been a big favorite of mine since I was a kid. I remember renting this with my dad in the video store, in one of those video stores that are out of a grocery store. You know, they had a little section up front with the videos. Rented this a bunch. I mean, not this one. This one I bought
I have a question.
later on eBay because I gave up on it never coming out on disc. Yes, what's your question?
Why does his brother and Beastmaster's brother has the same mark thing on his hand?
Brother?
Well, I think that is a bit of retconning there, because if you remember, the witch gave him that mark when she stole him right before she was gonna, kill him in the first movie. So there's really no reason his brother should have that mark. The only reason they did it is to try to kind of connect them as characters. There was never a brother. He was the firstborn. That's why he was gonna be king. But
Ew.
the Beastmaster, he was gonna be king in the first movie because he was the firstborn, but then his father didn't like his weird power.
No, he is a freak. The freak who speaks to animals.
But father...
But I think we're really getting into Beastmaster lore just a little too much. Alright, Iris, why don't you tell us what happened in Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal of Time?
He was captured by his brother, and then he escaped, and then he met that girl, and then they were walking, and then she got captured by the bad guy, and then Beastmaster followed them and then saved her, and then he was climbing up that metal ladder. He was all the way up to the top, and then he hanged up. He was grabbing on that hook thing, and then he went down, and then went in that car.
What about the fight at the zoo at the end?
Bingo! It's the zoo!
And then that.
By the way, if you are a movie bad guy, the one place you don't want to go if, say, the Beastmaster is following you is probably the zoo. Why would you go there? Well, so we could have scenes like this. I don't think... Did you notice all the animals watching them fight in the stands?
Yeah, and I liked that part when the monkey was just doing this.
There was an insert shot of a chimpanzee, but did you see...
Like this, and then it was like, ooh, ooh, ha, ha.
Oh, yeah. But did you see there was a guy in a gorilla suit, off to the far corner. They only showed him once, but I immediately could tell it was a guy in a suit and not an actual animal. It was tiger, elephant, and then off in the corner, a guy in the gorilla suit. You didn't see that part? Oh, I saw it. I saw that gorilla suit guy and that microphone in the police station.
Okay, let's continue.
How do you think this movie stands up quality-wise to the first one?
I think the second one's better.
You do?
Yeah.
I think I totally agree with you when I was a kid, too.
But what do you think now?
So now, I probably think the first one is better. And here's why. You can tell during that first part when they were in Dar's world that it's made kind of cheaply. The monster costumes, you could see through to see that guy's face talking. The hellhounds were obviously just dogs with stuff on top of them.
Those are the lost hounds.
That was kind of fun though, especially her reaction to the hellhounds.
That's bad, right?
They stalk the night, searching for souls to drag down into the abyss.
Sounds like a couple of guys I met in Tijuana last night.
I think the real, meat of this movie is when you get Dar, that character that you love, and you take him to LA and he does his fish out of water thing. And obviously
If you would ask me who's my favorite character, obviously it's Beastmaster.
Well, of course he'd be your favorite character because the movie's called Beastmaster 2. He's got to be a likable character. But I'll tell you who my favorite character in this movie was, and that was Kari Wurr, pronounced Kari like Ferrari. I remember from the thinner audio commentary. But I actually met Kari Wurr a couple years ago. Maybe more than a couple years ago, as you'll see, based on the thinness and whatnot. Here's a picture of that, and during this picture I'm telling somebody from the cast of Eight-Legged Freaks how to use my camera, so of course they took the picture while I was talking, and it wasn't a digital camera, so I just had to go with it. Kind of a boyhood crush of mine, Miss Wurr, and obviously meeting her in those very hormonal years left a lasting impression.
How touching.
Anyway, talking about some of the other members of the cast, Michael Berryman was in this. Also, the guy with the face. Also, the girl from Superman 2 and Conan. And she was having a real good stretch there in the 80s as far as genre movies are concerned. Besides the Beastmaster, did you have a favorite character? Somebody who you liked in the movie?
The bad guy.
You like the bad guy?
And also that girl.
Well, she was not always bad. She was like sometimes bad, sometimes good. She was on her own side.
I thought you were on Archon's side.
And I'm on my side, kid. In your world, I'd be an arbitrage.
So this not being on DVD, there's no real extras for me to talk about, but on this rental, after the credits, there is a behind-the-scenes featurette. Seems like a promo featurette where they're trying to sell you the movie.
Should go and see this movie because this movie is aimed for the kids of all ages.
Pretty interesting little behind-the-scenes segment.
The crew and cast of Beastmaster 2 toiled in the hot sands of Page, Arizona, battling the harsh desert elements of Dar's world. Then they moved on to Jackie's world, the streets of L.A.
Excitement, adventure.
You should laugh and scream and have fun.
It's a family type of a film that a whole family can go and see.
And I hope I'll be appealing to the fathers as well in the audience.
And you were. Any comments about that behind-the-scenes segment?
That's more of showing you like you should watch it now, buy it just now. And also there's actual animals. I'm just telling them because they maybe think that humans are actually pretending to be the animals.
And you have to go left frame, and I need emotion when you'll be looking at Dar. Huh? It's clear. Oh, you're a nice puppy.
Yeah, there was a point where the tiger was freaking out. That was interesting that they left that in there.
Okay, moving on.
It's kind of weird, the company behind this movie, Republic Pictures. There's this big promo for Republic Pictures actually in the previews before the movie. And if you look on Wikipedia, apparently somebody bought the rights to that company and tried really hard to make it a production company in the early 90s. Didn't really work, obviously. You don't see a bunch of Republic Pictures out there now, but interesting brand revival that was happening for a few years there in the 90s of this 1930s company. So does this movie make you want to watch Beastmaster 3, Eye of Braxus?
I need to see the picture. Why does Beastmaster look older?
The Beastmaster was nearly 30 when he made the first movie. So about 40 when he made this one, about 45. Those are rough estimates when he made this one. So he's getting pretty old. He still looks really good and very oily in this movie. But,
You mean his body?
yeah.
I was about to say in the other review that he looked glossy.
He does look glossy.
It's like Barbie dolls.
There was somebody's job, I'm sure, on set
I
just
said,
to oil up the Greasemaster.
I-
Beastmaster.
well, you said Grease.
I said Greasemaster. Could you tell that he was way older in the second movie compared to the first movie?
Yeah. And also, I wonder why he had that black thing. That black headband thing.
I think that black headband thing was to hide the fact that he was wearing a wig.
Now comes, This is a look at me that I don't even give myself in the morning in the mirror, and you guys are getting it on tape.
One of the things I also liked about this movie was the soundtrack was pretty good. Comparable orchestra score soundtrack There's a fun late 80s, early 90s song that outros the movie that stuck in my head for days now. I wanna be a hero. This was given pretty bad reviews when it came out.
Why?
Well, because the movie Beastmaster has kind of a broader appeal than just the Beastmaster. It worked for kids and adults and everybody. Beastmaster 2 seems a little more aimed at kids than the first one. They went maybe a little too family friendly, to the point where Beastmaster is just a friend of Kariwur. I know there's like a gigantic age difference there,
What do you
but
mean?
well, normally, or at least in the last movie, the Beastmaster, like, he got the girl. Remember, the lion was there and he pretended like, don't move.
The beast is fierce.
But he didn't pull his pickup moves on her with the lion this time.
Mommy will get you a nice can of 9 Lives.
Who is this, PJ? There's no cause to be alarmed.
He was just kind of a friend. The Beastmaster was her platonic, non-romantic friend in this movie.
Thank you. For being my friend.
So, through the portal of time, is it time travel or interdimensional travel? It seems to change throughout the movie. You'll have a character say it one way the first time and then a different way the second time.
A dimensional portal.
Time travel.
A dimensional portal.
I suppose it doesn't really matter. He's using a magic laser. What is that? What is that thing he has? It's not a sword. It's not a staff.
I was about to say in the other review that that's like a phone laser.
It does look like a phone laser, doesn't it?
like those old phones.
I don't even know what you'd call that thing. It's
like those phones that have little strings.
like a crystal laser stick. Yeah, that's pretty close. With a little floppy eagle on top. Also, for kind of a cheap, low-budget cash-in, they don't jip you on movie. It's a 107-minute movie. Yeah, some of the effects aren't that great. Some of the actors aren't that great, but I really enjoyed it. At a fun time. Definitely more enjoyable as a kid as opposed to an adult, especially if you've seen the first Beastmaster. If you haven't, why are you watching the Beastmaster 2?
Well, why are you watching this review?
Or why... Oh man, no one's gonna watch this review. Because nobody's seen it, because it's only on VHS. Ah! And I think that about wraps it up. Beastmaster 2, Through the Portal of Time. You know, fun movie. Give it a watch. You're gonna have to get it on VHS, or I think it's available on YouTube in several places. But anyway, as always, thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.
I'm just waving now. Okay, stop doing that. You're a statue.
Hey!
Beastmaster 2, coming soon to a theater near you.
Talk about your wild weekend. This one goes down in the record book.